A very good morning to all students and teachers present here today. We are the Healthy Mind Club of TP Sharjah, and today we are going to uh, host this webinar to give you some tips on time management, ensuring a positive well-being during this tough times, and preventing exam stress, which is a natural factor that comes with us, but we are going to be here to help you out. All right, so starting with how we can take care of our well being, I'm going to be looking into that. The key to ensure a positive well being is, first of all, to put your worries into perspective. And another thing that we can do is practicing mindful meditation. Now, how can these help, you may ask? It is really important to stay optimistic and understand that giving yourself a break is also needed at times. We usually tend to take up too much work and we end up worrying about it a lot. So you should really not do that. Don't be too hard on yourself. And right now, you may feel that how am I going to do all this? How am I going to cope up with everything? You have to give yourself a break and just stay optimistic because you're doing the best you can. So don't be too hard on yourself. The ways to stay positive would be definitely staying positive, be kind to yourself. Surround yourself with those who motivate you. So it could be your family or friends, people who you can talk to when you're feeling like you're low. You can take time out of your busy schedule to pamper yourself, maybe start a new hobby, do anything that makes you happy, and maybe diverts your mind from the workload that you have. You can focus on doing things that make you happy. So it could be something as simple as listening to music. Some people like to cook, some people have different interests. So just follow your interests and do what makes you happy. Then the next thing that you can do is mindful meditation. So, sitting meditation is a very popular practice that helps to improve your mindfulness, and it can really help in making you aware of your present state and just letting go of all the worries and all the things that just make you feel worried and anxious at times. So, all the unrelated thoughts that you may have in your mind, they all just go away when you practice some meditation. And I know in our very fast paced lives, we may not have time for this, but if you just take out some time, maybe half an hour every day, or maybe not even every day, once a week, it really helps to just cleanse your mind and just makes you feel way more peaceful. So the way to do it is you can find a very relaxing environment, quiet environment for yourself, and just close your eyes, start paying attention to your body, and just forget about everything else, and you'll become more aware of your current state. So some of the benefits that you have of meditation are definitely it helps reduce your stress and anxiety, since you do not have to worry too much about things in that moment when you're meditating. All your impulsivity, cravings, addictions, it helps to reduce it. You get a more control over your body in a way, and increases resilience definitely when maybe you have an exam coming up, maybe you have other deadlines coming up. Just some time where when you give to connect to your body and just connect to yourself, it really just helps to increase your resilience and make you feel that yes, I can overcome this obstacle. um, Definitely with all these things your happiness will increase. You will feel lighter, you'll feel better about yourself, and it also helps you become uh, make better relations with your friends and family, because you get to know better, you have a better awareness of yourself, and overall it increases your life satisfaction and you feel content with what you're doing. Next up, Suzanne is going to take over.
Morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne. I'm from 12F, and my stream is commerce with marketing and psychology. That's more like who am I. And today we're going to discuss how to deal with stress, and I hope you all are okay. We're sorry about the inconvenience that took place earlier, but we apologize for that. So, how to deal with stress? If you were supposed to ask me in, like, say, a short answer question, I would say make a daily planner. And why would I say something like that? It's because it helps in being organized, it helps one stay up to date, and you really understand to politely tell yourself and honestly introspect and see what you can accept and what you can decline, and you can set your responsibilities accordingly. So now I would actually encourage you all to pull up a pen and a paper and to start making notes, because we've done a lot of research and we would like for you all to use it in the future. The next slide, please. Yes. So, the first point that we would like to highlight is lighten your load. And the main challenge that we notice many people face is that they overschedule. And why does this happen? It's because they forget to say no to things that they cannot accept. And when we are saying this, we don't mean that you always have to say no and be like, I am always overburdened all the time. That's not how it works, right? For example, maybe your parents are giving you some work and they remind you of the chores that you have to do. But if you're going to tell everyone that you're just adding load to my work and I'm on an overschedule, that's not going to help you, right? Because let's look at it this way. If you have a schedule and you've been given added tasks, one of them is to do your chores, the other is to join your friend on a scribble game or something like that. What would you choose? On a normal situation where you are not keeping dealing with stress as your focus, you might choose going for the scribble game. But when you keep dealing with stress as your focus and you think of the time you are investing and what it gives back to you, that is when you will learn to not overschedule. We're talking about not prioritizing. So over here, maybe in this circumstance, you might choose to understand it as if I do my chores, I will earn trust, I will gain freedom, I might be able to spend more time with my friends than I wanted to right now. But when you spend time with your friends right now, you might get the basic contentment that you feel, the happiness that you feel, and you might feel like you did an extra task and you might feel good about it temporarily. So, what we're trying to say over here, like I mentioned again, prioritize. So, what can you do to prioritize? Ask yourself one main question, and that is, can I really afford to invest the time and energy needed for this activity? I'll repeat that question. Can I really afford to invest the time and energy needed for this activity? Once you view that as a remedy, you will automatically learn to say no. So, the next slide, if we view that, yes, it says for a less hectic morning, set aside 5 minutes to tidy up before going to bed. Now, once we've done with decluttering our schedule and we have a proper schedule, one of the main things is that we have more free time. So we don't know what to do. And one of the best things to do then is to go and set your bed. And for me personally, I've set my bed behind me because that is a space that I am seeing. So I feel like my head is decluttered and I am able to talk to you freely. So that is something that I would encourage you all to do. And something that comes along with having more time is to take care of your body. The next slide. Yes. We have three main tips. The first one is get enough sleep, allow yourself enough time to unwind, and sleep in a quiet and comfortable place. What we mean by this is not just getting enough sleep like 7 to 8 hours, or depending on your age, the number of hours that you're supposed to get for sleep, but also setting regular times to go to bed and get up on at that specific time, at least on school days, and keep a set time for weekends, so you are able to organize yourself to a particular schedule. The second one is allow yourself enough time to unwind. And this is more concerned with before going to bed at night. Please make sure that you don't do certain things. There are three main things. The first one is do not exercise within 3 hours before going to bed. Avoid eating heavy snacks. And avoid caffeine based items. This is because um, all these three things, they increase your blood pressure and they make you more active at night. So if you're trying to make yourself calm down, this will work against you. The third one is when it's time to go to bed, try and make your bedroom dark, quiet, and comfortable. And we know that some of us are not so comfortable with keeping our rooms dark because we're scared of it. But keeping it quiet and comfortable will really help us gain sound sleep. Um, yes. So actually, to change things up a little bit, I thought maybe I'll connect with y'all through a storyline. And maybe y'all can think of a Miss Perfectionist, and you can think of how she does everything perfectly, or you can even think of an enemy who you admire for her goodness. And I want to highlight three main things that she does wrong that causes her to deal with stress. The first one is her insecurity, her demanding routine, and her interpersonal conflicts. So, Miss Perfectionist had this insecurity of worst case scenarios. She used to always overthink situations. For example, if she had an exam, she would study throughout the week, but towards the end, she would be like, what if I fail? What if I don't even pass the grade? And stuff like that. So, what would happen to her was by the end of the paper, she would be so emotionally drained, her nerves would be so weak, and she was just fearing what may not have even happened because her results came out to be much better than she expected. And one of the main things that we tend to forget is that our demanding routine is one of the main causes for our overscheduling. So, a friend of hers encouraged her to get a demanding downtime routine off and to create more space in her routine. And how did she do that? She created some downtime to get some adequate rest, and she set sound priorities to adopt a modest life. And that's how you really gain a better understanding of what you need to do at that point. The third thing is um, we'll cut the story because I'm not able to get through the storyline. But the interpersonal conflicts usually lie with the mind and the heart not working together. The problem over here is that when someone upsets you, you may try to stay calm, but you don't want to settle the differences immediately or something like that. Or you might have a burst of anger. These are all interpersonal conflicts that do not allow us to sleep well, do not allow us to think soundly. So, one of the main pro tips that I would like to give y'all is please try to settle differences privately and respectfully, because you not only dignify the other person, but you also dignify your mental health at this point. The other one is to try to gain an insight into the other person's feelings and viewpoint. This helps you become more emotionally stable because you understand different kinds of people. And this also slows down our anger because it puts us in the other person's shoes. The next point is please do not hesitate to contact your parents, friends, or anyone else close to you or whom you trust to connect with them and to talk to them. And please do not feel ashamed to tell them that you are feeling stress, because emotional support really reduces the damage that increased stress can cause to your heart, blood vessels, and immune system. And we as the Health and Mind Club are really concerned for your well-being. So the best start to relieving stress is to start eating a well balanced diet, a healthy diet, as well as getting enough sleep and exercise. You may also want to take breaks from your work, spending time with your family and friends, learning to make things with your hands, and learning to play a musical instrument if that's your interest. That's more like it. So now it's Ridhima.
Yeah, it's me. So, hello everyone, I'm Ridhima, and my stream is Science with Bio and Math. Now, the academic tips that I will be putting forward are based on scientific research, and things that have helped me in my board exams. So I'll just get to it. So can we just move on to the next slide? So these are a few tips that I will be covering, and hopefully they'll help you out. So yeah, let's get to the first one. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so now visually appealing resources such as helpful PowerPoints and educational videos will actually help you understand your study material a lot better, because you will be visualizing your content and just seeing how certain things work. Now this can really help you when you just get bored reading your textbook and you just want a change of scenario. So you can definitely refer to educational videos and see how things work out in a practical environment. Now, the next step that I would like to get to is goals versus expectations. Now, what I mean here is that, it worked really well for me when I had a goal of scoring full marks, but I did not expect full marks. Now, I'm not saying, you shouldn't have expectations, because expectations are just a part of your human behavior, but then they often end in disappointment if your results don't meet your expectations. And studies have shown that setting your bar high when it comes to having a goal has proven to increase human efficiency. So just try to keep these points in your mind if you need help, because you can, if you have an expectation of scoring full marks and if you don't get it, you will actually feel really bad, and then you won't be able to focus on your remaining exams. But if you set a goal of scoring full marks, then you will study efficiently, because that's your goal. So say if you want to score 100 marks, you will study for 100 marks, instead of if you set a goal for 65 marks, you won't study to your full potential. So this is just a good tip, and I hope that it helps you out. Moving on to the next one. Next slide. So exaggeration won't help. Now, I know that making notes is something all of us do, and they work out for you in terms of quick revision, but they really are practically useless if you aren't understanding what you note down and just go on to decorate your notes to post on social media and to just show that your feed is aesthetic, as most of us like to say. So just avoid doing that, because your notes are something that just note down to understand few topics, not to really post on social media. So avoid exaggeration. The next step is active recalling, and this is my favorite one, and this helped me a lot. It is by far the best method to recall your knowledge, and this is done in the form of practice tests and writing a summary on each topic. But the summary should be written by you without referring to your study material, because that way what you'll be doing is that you will be mentally recalling everything that you have learned and even understanding your concepts better. Because and now when we come to practice tests, when you write those tests or when you attempt of certain questions, what you will be doing is that you will be using the knowledge that you have recalled throughout the weeks and will be putting it into practical use, which will make you understand your whole topic very thoroughly. Okay. The next one is move on to the next slide.
For all these 7 sections.
So this is
Ridhima,
the
1 minute. Ridhima, pause. May I ask the participants to mute their mics, please? The students in charge, you monitors who are there in the group, you will sit on teams with your class teacher. Okay, ensure that your class teacher is sitting with you and take her review wherever required. Nandini? Yeah. Okay, Ridhima, carry on.
Okay, so I'll just move on to the next one. This is basically to study smart, not hard. Now, often we are told that working hard is going to get you really good grades, and if you sit on your laptop and just refer to your study material for hours on end, you will be able to ace your board exams. Now, I'm telling you this with full honesty, that's not going to work out. And that's because your brain needs to refresh every 25 to 30 minutes. So this Pomodoro technique focuses on that. Now, say this is a technique where you have a study session for about 25 to 30 minutes each, and then after each session, you take about a 3 to 5 minute break. And you can repeat this 4 times. And after your fourth session, what basically goes on is that you have to take a 15 to 30-minute break, which will actually help you recharge your brain each time for the next topic to be covered. Secondly, it is useful because you will be having a time frame that you need to cover a particular topic in, or even just, understand a paragraph from your geography or your science textbook. And, you will be more efficient because that's when you have a time constraint on yourself. So, you will be avoiding distractions and, you will be looking forward to your break as well. So in all, this is really going to help you out and, you won't be exhausted by the end of it. Moving on. Now, finding your learning style is the most important of all. And I'm saying this because all of us are unique individuals and we need to figure out what works for us best. So, this can be auditory learning, visual learning, or even reading through your book. So, below, I have attached a few websites that will help you figure out your learning style through a quiz. So, the first one is Education Planner, and the second one is Arden. So these two websites will basically give you a quiz and they will personalize your results in a form of a learning style which works best for you. Now, when we talk about your stream, that's a very important part of 10th grade as well, apart from your board exams. And what you need to do is that understand if you are truly interested in the career path that you want to be choosing, or even your stream. So that can help you out, in a way if you just enroll in online courses and, regarding your chosen stream. So what happens there is that when you will be going through learning material that is related to the stream you're thinking about, you will figure out if it truly works for you or not. And a few of them are Coursera, Allison Courses, and Udemy. They provide both paid and free courses with and without certification, and this can really help you out. Now I'll be handing over the floor to Ananya.
Thank you, Ridhima. My name is Ananya and I study in grade 11 and I have taken computer with maths as my stream. Now, along with those efficient study tips, we need to take care of another issue, and that is exam anxiety and nervousness. What if I forget to do a question? What if I do not know the solution? These are some seeds of confusion that are common among all students. Exam anxiety leads to panic, therefore making us forget core concepts. Moreover, right now, there's this uncertainty on how exams will go about during this pandemic. But we are not alone in this. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and we will find it. So there are a few helpful tips and tricks that we need to remember to keep us thriving in this vast sea. Number one, always work on understanding the basic concepts because there won't be any pyramid without a strong base. Do question papers beforehand, especially on those concepts which you are unsure of. Number two, mindfulness, that is being aware of the present moment. This is a powerful tool that can empower us to deal with exam related stress and anxiety. It helps students to acknowledge and decenter difficult emotions, feel calmer, and see the exam as a less threatening experience. Number three, try to practice good self care. Pay attention to your sleep, nutrition, exercise, and relaxation routines because a healthy mind leads to a healthy body. And lastly, reach out for additional support, whether professional, with family, or friends, in case of high levels of anxiety or any other issue. With that, I will be moving over to the next segment, that is time management. Right now, especially with the ongoing pandemic, we have become surprisingly busier since everything is done within the four walls of our room. Whether it's tuitions, school, or extra activities, or even binge watching TV shows and movies, we often find ourselves not having the time to complete our required work. And as a student who's been there, done that, and of course tried to tackle it, I can provide a few tips so that we can be time management warriors. Number one, have a dynamic to-do list. Can you switch the slide, please? Thank you. President Dwight Eisenhower 34th President of the United States had an incredible productivity and time management skills. His most famous strategy is known as the Eisenhower box, where we have to separate our tasks into categories such as urgent and not urgent, and important and not important. This helps in quick decision making and organization skills. And also to remember that never overschedule your timetable. Next, avoid procrastination. It is a Friday evening and you are desperately looking for a bunch of notes for the 80 marks paper on Sunday. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? This is a story of many students before any exam. Procrastination due to social media, entertainment, and other work tends to lead to such stressful situations. Thus, there is a simple yet important solution to this. Avoid procrastination. Here are some strategies to do so. Number one, commit to the task. Focus on doing, not avoiding. Write down the tasks that you need to complete and specify a time for doing them. Ask someone to check up on you, such as your family or friends. An excellent alternative could be using an online tool such as Procrastor, which I will attach in the chats later. Next, promise yourself a reward. If you complete a difficult task on time, reward yourself with a treat, such as a slice of cake, making sure that you feel good about completing your task. Number three, turn off social media app alerts. Relentless social media app alerts will not help you with managing time. This will certainly distract you from the task. It is necessary to have some peace of mind to focus diligently on the task at hand. Maybe you can play soft classical music to keep your mind calm. And lastly, meditate and exercise every day. We might think that this does not help to manage your time, but meditating and exercising every single day gives us vital balance, especially if we are sitting on the same chair the whole day. It cuts the toxins out of our lives and slowly transforms our energy, stamina, and focus in a positive way. With that, we come to the end of our presentation.
Since you have mentioned that you're a science student, how is it's actually out of the topic? It doesn't really have to do with counseling, but like, how do you find the science stream? Is it hard for you?
Is your question directed to me?
Yes.
Okay, so see, now I'll tell you this. All streams are equally difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, we all have immense workload, but what matters in the end is if you're interested in it. Because no matter how complex the topic is for you, if you're not interested in it, you'll never be able to, understand it well. So all I'm gonna say is that even if you think that it's too complex, just, know that you need to have an interest in the stream you're choosing. So I chose science because I'm really interested in science and environmental science in the end. So, I don't really find science difficult because it is something I want to do and I put an effort to understand that better. I hope that answered your question.
I think we have a question in the chats. How do you figure out what stream you want to take? Two people have the same question. So who will be taking up that? Suzanne, Nandini, Ridhima?
Okay, I'll start. I think the first thing that you need to understand when you're choosing a stream, definitely there are so many options, so many subjects to choose from. The first thing is to do what makes you happy. If you see yourself studying that subject, doing something related to that subject in the next 10 years of your life, go for it. People might tell you to do something else. Talking from my personal experience, I'm a humanities student, and many of my friends, family, they've all were like, go into science. You are good at science, do science. I did not want to do that because I am interested in the social sciences. So I decided to do that. Just follow your passion and do what makes you happy. Anyone can take over from here.
Okay, since this question is about choosing your stream, there are a few things I would like to add. Four things which is very important for every student who is thinking about how to choose my stream or whether this is the right stream. Ask yourself a few questions. One is your personality. So basically ask yourself, who am I? What are my likes? What are my interests? So that is your personality. Second comes your interest. What are the things that I'm interested in? So if you don't know what your interests are, for example, you could, uh, the newspaper, what columns do you read first? Is it the editorial? Is it the news, world news, business? So that will give you an idea of what your interests are. Maybe even the programs that you watch, the books that you read. These are all, things that give you an indication of what are your interests. Then comes your skills. What skills do I have? And what course can I take which will enhance my skills? So if you're good in reasoning, if you're good in analytical skills, logical reasoning, there are subjects, which encourage you to pursue that. So knowing your interest. So if you're good in drawing, if you're good in, visualizing, spatial reasoning, then, this way it will help you narrow down your choices. And that last thing is aptitude, which is your inborn potential. So ask yourself, what comes to me naturally? Okay, so what are the subjects that you are more inclined towards? All of us cannot like all the subjects, and there is no prerequisite that we have to be good in everything. If you choose the right course, if you choose the right stream, you will blossom from there. Okay, so just these four things. Do some introspection today itself. These are the only four things that you need to know. I'm not telling you not to research. Yes, you should research what are the best courses, but before that, you should ask yourself, who am I, and how does my personality and my interest fit into the course or the career that I want to take up? So that will really solve all your questions and any anxiety or confusion you might have regarding choosing your stream. So your personality, your interest, your skills, and your aptitude. Okay. Anyone else would like to add more?
Ma'am, I have a question if everyone's done answering the previous one. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So, okay, this is kind of related to, it's kind of more on the personal side. But, okay, since 10th graders, we have to, keep up to date with our studies and everything. And it is, very important and crucial for us to do that on a day-to-day basis. But at times there are days where, it's just a bad day. Like, you wake up and it's a bad day. How do you just get yourself up and running? And especially due to this pandemic, and because everything is so uncertain and it's pretty stressful as well. I know for a fact that all of us are having those bad days more often, but we also need to keep ourselves motivated to get our stuff done. So do you guys have any tips on how to get yourself up and running? Because I don't know, it's kind of just yeah, I'm done.
Can I answer that if everyone is fine with it? And you guys can add on later on. So, okay, regarding your question, Khyati, honestly, I have days like that as well. It's like every week for me. But what I saw recently, I was, conducting research for this webinar, and I found out that your human brain actually has two things that it works for. It is either to prevent pain or to gain pleasure in life. Now, what I mean by that is that, you can look at your goals in a certain way. So, see, if you don't, go through with your to-do list or your routine, you should think about the pain it will cause you in the future. So, say you want to get into a certain college, but, your grades are not fitting for that college if you don't move, the day you feel like you don't want to move around and just sit in your bed and do things that are not actually going to benefit you. So if you think about the long term pain that it will cause you, or how it's probably going to take your goals away from you, or probably just shatter your long term dreams, say in 10 to 20 years, then that's actually going to motivate you a lot to go through with your day. Secondly, you can think about the pleasure it's going to get you. Now, what I mean by that is that, you usually feel really good after achieving something. And I know that it's easier said than done, but if you can just make up your mind a little bit and, even watch like motivating, productive morning routines or night routines on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find many. You will actually be motivated and want your life to just resemble that routine a bit. And hopefully that will just motivate you. And if anyone else wants to add on to this, you can.
Definitely for me too, personally, like for us 12th graders, we have our college applications coming up. So we have the deadline in mind that yes, we have to submit the application next month in 2 months. So we have to start working towards it. So I feel like whenever it's natural human tendency when we have a deadline or a goal to reach, we work hard towards it and we have to fulfill it by that point of time. So definitely if you prioritize and just motivate yourself, like what if I keep procrastinating, if I just just call it a lazy day and just not do anything, how will that affect me in the long term? And yeah, as Ritma said, like you should not regret in the next few years of your life. Like if only then at that time you'll think, if only I had worked at that point of time, maybe I would have gotten better grades, maybe I would have gotten into this college. So definitely just motivate yourself, maybe surround yourself with people who motivate you. Could be your family, friends, anyone. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
And adding on to that, I too have had my fair share of having a bad outlook in the morning itself. But you see, what I've tried to do is that try to do something which you like, something which does lift up your mood. Because after I lift up my mood, I've always noticed that I do go back to my work. And so make your routine in a way that maybe you have something good to do, something to look forward to in the middle of your study sessions, your activities. So that would greatly motivate you. And it has motivated me a lot of times. And like adding on to what everyone has said, surround yourself with positivity. I know we are within the four walls. So where exactly do we see positivity? But you see, maybe watch videos or connect with your family, have Zoom with your friends, and even connect with the H&M club because we are always there to talk, right? So follow all of that, and I hope that you can have a better outlook in the future.
Can I ask a
Okay, thank
question?
you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there are like times I feel like studying, but I don't exactly have the motivation to study. I don't know if you guys understand or no, but I feel like, yeah, I want to study, but I don't just get up or like get out of my phone and study because I don't know, but I want to study. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
No, no, it's perfectly relatable to all of us, especially now because we have a bed near us. But again, as we have said, right, there are a lot of aspects of how you can look into this, and I'm sure all of us will add on to it later. But number one, look at how your result will be in the future if we don't study right now. Try to take that as a motivation, because visualize in the future that if you do not do this today, how would you feel later? Obviously you'll regret it, right? And you don't want that. So use that as a motivation to keep that phone aside, right? Try that and see if it works. And all another thing which I work in always is try to find the interesting part in your subject, whether it's social studies, science, math. Maybe that one interesting thing will be there. So try to hold on to that and go to the study table, open the book and study. It can be one concept, one statement, or some research thing. Try that method. Try to have that interest on what you're doing, because that needs to be the first step towards actually studying and then memorizing and then doing the questions related to that. So anyone else wants to add on to that?
Something which motivates me to study when I feel like I shouldn't study is, I feel like, what if I get bad grades? And all of that, and then it just makes you yourself realize what you need to do, because each person knows how much they need to study, how much. Some people can just study for like 1 hour and just learn everything. Some people need more time. So it just depends on you from person to person. And what I do is I just imagine the worst case scenario that might happen if I don't study. And that just motivates me to study, like, personally.
I would like to add something here. Motivation to study comes only when you set your goals. So for all those of you who haven't set their goals, there is still time. Set goals for yourself. Where do I see myself in some years? And then work backwards, for that. What do I have to do? Okay, I have to be a computer science engineer, whatever it is, and work backwards. And then if you know this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, I don't think there will be anything that will come in your way. Definitely, when you talk about goals, you need a long-term goal and you need short-term goals. Then you need to have your daily goals. Okay, this is what I will do every day. Then you need to have weekly goals. You need to have monthly goals. I'm not saying this for you to be overwhelmed, but this is one of the ways that you can slowly and strategically work towards achieving what you want to achieve. And be specific, because many times I've heard students speak, I want to do well. But what do you mean by do well? So be specific. I want to get 85%, 90%, 95%, whatever is your potential. You need not, do something, keep a goal just because your friend has set the same goals. Do what is realistic to you. That is the essence of goal setting, having a very realistic goals. So what maybe my goal need not be your goal. So according to your own personal level, your own potential, you set goals, and then you need to revisit your goals. So if and when it is not working, you need to revisit, you need to change, you need to be flexible enough. I think with the distance learning, children have become more, relaxed in the manner of the way they study. And definitely, many children do say that, they don't feel motivated enough to study. But again, in these times, we have to take care of that, So again, just keep talking to your parents, keep talking to your seniors. Like they said, these girls are always there for you. You can message them and, have them as your mentors, and they will definitely guide you through this time. So setting goals is one of the way to keep your motivation level, and reward yourself, Take that break only if you feel I have done something worthwhile. Like if I have solved one test paper, yes, you need to take a break, 15 minutes of your phone time using phone or whatever. So in that way, reward yourself only when you feel you deserve to, to be rewarded. And also, from the fear of missing out, all of you need to move towards the joy of missing out, especially your dependence on social media. So now the goal and the focus in the next few months is to enjoy the joy of missing out. And that by itself will reduce your anxiety and the stress that you experience apart from, studies.
Can I just add on to what ma'am said before we get to Avyakta's question? I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, you can correct me. But what I like to say is that yes, all of us do set goals, but I remember having times in 10th grade where even, just thinking about my goals wasn't enough. I needed to relate to someone, and
small children, learn 10 new words every day, get to know the meanings. This is how we used to learn. Our teachers used to make us learn 10 new words every day. And we used to write down the meaning and learn how to use that word with its meaning in a sentence. And there is no age in particular to, that we should have done this. So it's always possible to start right now, because going on, irrespective of whether you are a science student or a commerce student or a humanities student, writing skills is something that you all will need, creative writing, especially when you have to write your statement of purpose for your college applications. No one else can write your thoughts as well as you. So you need to start working on all these. Girls, do you want to add anything else? You can even take up creative writing courses. Those are available online. Coursera has plenty of creative writing courses. But reading newspapers, reading articles, and try to writing down your own views on it will really improve your writing skills.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's
Anything
necessary for me
else?
to go now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Maybe something you can do is when you come across a new word, maybe in a newspaper, maybe in a book, search it up and look at what the meaning is, and maybe you'll start using that in your normal conversations. So that can really help as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Is there any other question?
Ma'am, in the chats, there is one question. It's from Palak. So, while choosing a course to do in 10th, what if you don't really know what interests you have? Because I don't think I know mine. So, how will I really decide what to do?
Okay, it actually doesn't matter, because I would say unless you do few courses, you will not know what you really like, and that is one of the ways, you don't have to push yourself. There are so many courses that are free. You could sign up for those, you could read up more, and then you just see, and maybe you'll find something that interests you, so you can do more research on that. So yeah, is there anything else that you would like to add, Nandini, Ridhima, Ananya?
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would like to suggest is that there are a lot of causes that are of utmost importance these days, say feminism, environmental awareness, and gender equality, which is feminism again. And then there's also dealing with racism. So, what I'd like to suggest is that you take a particular cause and see if you would want to advocate for it. Now, say if we talk about racism and feminism, you would be inclined towards taking a course in that. You can try to take a course in that and see if you're interested in that particular topic, and then from there you can move on to choosing humanities if you would like to study further in that particular topic as your career. So you can go into law and stuff like that. When you can, if you want to advocate for environmental studies, or even just advocating for a few like cancer awareness programs, what you can do is that you can take up a course in that, and then just try to realize if you're interested in science. And if you're interested in stocks or economics, or our country's GDP, which is, I guess, negative right now, then you can take up a course related to that as well. And I hope that it can interest you in the long run, because what you need to do is that you need to understand what causes you would like to stand up for, and what speaks to you the most, and only then you will be able to just shortlist a few courses, and then just take up what speaks to you the most. If anyone wants to add on something, you can.
Are there any other questions?
We can conclude the session here if there aren't any more questions, because this is the platform where you can ask any or share any of your concerns that you might be having.
I have a question. We all, I mean, at least for me, I start from being organized. Like I try being organized, I do a planner, but then I don't continue it. So how do you maintain it? Maintain the things you want to do, because I start, but then I just stop midway. So anything with maintaining.
Can I answer that? Yeah, all right. So, what I would suggest is there are a few things that you need to remember when you are making that routine, right? So it needs to be realistic. You can't always study, you can't always play. So what I would suggest is keep a balance between both. If your if your routine consists of only studying, then add more leisurely stuff like maybe writing or reading or anything, absolutely anything that interests you. Maybe that can be a pillar of motivation, because then you'll be like, oh, I have to study and then I have an exciting activity, so you'll quickly go through the studies and then you'll have whatever you want to do. And so yeah, that would be one thing, is to make your routine realistic and interesting. So anyone else wants to add anything, please go ahead.
I think that Ananya's response was perfect. So if anyone else has a question, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, I have a question. Can I go ahead with? Yeah, so there's always been this stigma that, or we've always heard of the stuff like science students have to invest a lot of time in their studies and they don't get to do anything else. So I was worried about that because I personally have hobbies and I don't want to let go of them. So should I be worried about which stream I choose according to that, or are these things just false rumors?
Okay, so as a science student, I will say it's a complete no, because I had done my research in time management as well, and I have followed it through the years, and I can guarantee you that if you commit yourself towards time management, if you organize yourself, you can do anything and everything you want. And one thing is, it's not only in science stream that you will find it's very tough or something. Commerce, humanities, arts, everything requires its own dedication, its own, things to study, right? So what I would suggest is keep up with your extracurriculars, whatever you have, because it is as important as your studies. It will help you focus, and I can guarantee you personally. And I'm sure even those seniors over here will definitely tell you that go ahead with your interests in any stream, absolutely, but continue with your extracurriculars because it will help you a lot. And anyone else wants to add something?
Okay, I'd like to say something. So I'm a science student as well. And what Ananya said, I can promise you it's completely true because I have actually gotten into more extracurricular in 11th grade. And that's because I learned to manage my time. And secondly, if your extracurricular is, say, dancing or karate, these are just examples that will actually be a really good break for you. And yeah, there is a stigma that science is like extremely difficult, but that is only because it's not difficult. But see, when you study humanities or if you study commerce, there are a lot of new subjects that are added to it. Whereas in science, you have been studying, parts of physics, chemistry, and bio, or even math, from like a really long time, from when you were in KG2. So, what happens is that they only add on to your knowledge, but if you go for commerce or humanities, you will be introduced to new topics, which is why, people tend to say that, commerce and humanities is easier and, you can always see them having more fun. But that's only because, a few science students, not all, a few, they tend to believe that if they don't study every day or, not like for the whole day, then they won't be able to progress in life because, there are exams like JEE and NEET as well. So, all I'm going to say is that, like Ananya mentioned as well, just manage your time and just be interested in whatever you choose.
Thanks.
Ma'am, there are only 30 participants. Are there anyone in the waiting room or
Oh,
something?
no, no, no.
All right.
Okay, if we have addressed all the concerns, I think then we can conclude the meeting here.
I think there's a question in the chat box from Vritti. I'm not sure if we addressed that.
I can't see Palak's and you can
Okay,
read it out.
yeah. I was the one who. Okay, so she said like how others asked for which stream to pick. She had a discussion with her parents, and she had mainly two options, which was either commerce with economics or science with biology.
Now I can
And her
see. Yeah.
parents,
Okay.
yeah. So her parents advised her to pick up science with biology, but she wasn't very happy with it, and she wanted to do commerce with economics. But her parents said, "Let me talk to your brother." And since he's a university student and he took commerce with web technology, so how do I know which stream to pick?
Yeah, so this is again, what I told earlier about knowing your personality, your interest and skills and aptitude, because what suited your brother need not suit your, need not suit you or, your personality. And yes, there are parents who look at, there are parents and students as well who look at, the best courses where there's a job security and where there's potential for growth. But yes, that is true. That is one of the factors that probably you could look at. But I believe and I would recommend that, doing what you like, so that and enrolling for a course that really interests you and that you can take it forward. Because we do see many science students in grade 11 and 12 switching over to BBA, BCom courses, even going for, hotel management or any of those courses later on. But yes, a science student has the option to choose commerce or humanities for their graduation, but you cannot do it otherwise. So if you have taken humanities, you cannot do a technical BSc. But yes, you could do a BSc in economics. That's a different thing. Again, it depends on the university or the country that you are applying to. So what stream you should choose, I would say try to get an aptitude test done. There are free online tests. Look for tests that gives you the Holland codes. These are the codes, for which gives you a combination of your personality as well as your interest. So there are free net profilers job. It's called ONET. You could just see ONET profiles. So these are free tests which would really give you the breakdown of the different career types and how your personality matches with the career type. So knowing that is the best way to choose a particular stream. Yes, you have to look into a lot of factors. Now, this is just one way of doing it. You can be sure of, okay, this is what I want, this is what I'm good at. And there are some children who are good in everything, or who are interested in everything, and some who are not interested in anything. So knowing yourself is the first step to choosing the right stream. Hope that helps.
Also, to add, the question that you asked is very personal to me because I went through the same thing. Like everyone around me was telling me to take a particular stream, and I didn't want it. So what I believe is the main thing is you should do what makes you happy, because ultimately it's not going to be your brother, sister, parents who are going to get into the stream. It's you, and it's you who has to make a life and career out of it in the future. So I believe that whatever people are saying, yeah, it's hard at times to just go against what people are saying. Many people believe that with a certain stream or with a certain subjects you have more options. But what I believe is when you know that you want to do a certain thing, just go for it. And later on you should not end up regretting it. So the main thing is just do what makes you happy. If it doesn't affect somebody else, it affects only you. The choice that you make right now only affects you. So do what you think is the best option for you. So if you want to go for commerce with eco, go for it. Don't listen to the others and just go for it.
Also, I understand there's a lot of peer pressure also that plays a role in what stream you would choose. Because many would prefer to be with their friends, and that would be one of the guiding forces which tells them, okay, I should take science because all my friends are in science. Or some go with the, there are a lot of myths also people think commerce and humanities students don't, are not as good as the science, so I should not take science. I'll take, I should take science and I should not take commerce or humanities. So be a better judge by by knowing yourself, reading up more, and of course you will have to take into account how your parents are guiding you. But I think if you know yourself, if you know what you are, your personality, your interests, your skills, your aptitude, that is the sole thing that could lead you to choosing the right stream. Because there are many students who take science on the first day or the second day, they know it is not meant for them and they change to commerce, or they switch among science subjects as well. So if you're prepared, you will save yourself that trouble when you come to grade 11. Save yourself and many others also.
Anything else? Any other question that you guys may have?
Okay, so I mean, if we have answered all the questions, I think we can close the meeting now. So thank you all for attending, and sorry for the inconvenience in the beginning. So if required, we will arrange a second session for all of you so that, it can be addressed once again. So thank you all for attending.
We hope you liked the session and you learned something from it and we were able to clear your doubts.
Yeah, I'll be sending a feedback form. So just take a few seconds to fill that. I'll be sending it to your teachers. And for those of you who attended, please do fill the feedback form.
You said that you were going to send a link of Procrasto. I think that's the name.
Yes. Ma'am, can we attach that with a feedback form by chance? Or with the email you want to send? Because
sorry, I didn't get you. What is the link?
Ma'am, it's basically a procrastinating tool. It's like a tool which helps you manage time. So, can I send that with the? Can you send that with the email by chance?
Yeah,
because,
sure.
I will be attaching a lot of links, not just that.
Yeah, that's
since
fine.
They have asked.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, for those of you who missed out the second part, whatever information we have shared, we'll send it together. Okay, so I think we'll close the session here. Thank you all for attending and hope it was, you have gained some information. So do let us know if you would want us to cover any other topic. Would be glad to, to help you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Ananya, Nandini, and Ridhima, just stay online.